Hello, I'm Sarah and I couldn't be bothered cleaning my house today, so I'm going to take you outside to my happy place, which other than with Aston and Mr. Action Man here, is with my chickens, because I love my chickens. So I thought I'd give you a quick rundown if you're thinking of keeping chickens, what you have to do, what you will need, just the basics. I'll show you my setup that I've got. Just as a starter, what you will need is food for them. Of course, they can scratch around for bugs. You can give them table scraps, but they also need chook pellets or something as well. You want to make sure they're getting all the right stuff, enough protein. You need to get some grit. You can get a big bag of oyster shell grit very cheap. They need fresh water, they need shelter, they need nesting boxes with some hay or some wood shavings or something like that in. They need some perches, preferably some perches in their nesting area because they like to perch at night time, and some perches outside is good as well, some trees or whatever. Now, thank you, they need some bushes or some kind of shade if it's a windy day, or some winter shelter if it's raining, and they need space. You know, they need space to scratch and dig. Apparently I got boring. He's gone. Chickens in cages, that's not good. I don't even like them all being not necessarily battery farmed, but all inside all the time. It's just, they're meant to be out there scratching and eating worms and bugs and stuff. That's what chickens do, and I like to see animals doing what they're meant to be doing. In regards to maintenance, you need to change their water to make sure you feed them. If you want them to be friendly, you need to be in there every day with them. You know, chickens can be very skittish if they're not sure about people, or they can be really, really friendly and they'll come running up to you like you're an absolute superstar when you approach them. So it's all about how you treat them. If you treat them like pets, then they will be pets. You do need to clean the chook house out at least once a week. You want to give it a proper big sweep. I put the poop in a bucket and then I mulch it into my veggie patch. It doubles as some fertiliser for the veggies. Their hay, you need to change that out once a week. If you've got any questions, anything I haven't answered in this video, please please leave me a comment. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to get some more subscribers, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello, I thought I would introduce you to the rest of my family. You've probably seen my kids in my other videos. This is my main man, Cluckster. He is a great big cuddly thing when he's not picking the kids. These are my girls, the chickens. So I thought I would just give you a wee description of what we do with the chickens, whether or not it's a good idea to keep them. In my opinion, definitely yes. So we've got one rooster at the moment. You don't need to have a rooster with your chickens. The main reason for us is that one day I want to get into breeding my own chickens, and also we've actually lost a few chooks to hawks in the past, and that fella there is a pretty good deterrent. We've got 7 chickens, and they're keeping our family in eggs quite nicely at the moment. We're getting about 4 or 5 eggs a day, which is pretty good. It comes and goes depending on if they're molting or not. To feed 7 chickens, it depends on what you've got in the way of table scraps. They love scrap. We usually spend up to $10 a week. We buy the bags of chook pellets from Pack and Save. Yes, Pack and Save do sell chook pellets. Yeah, pick them all over, Sam. But these are a great thing for kids. I'm not sure whether or not it will save you money on eggs, depending, as I say, depending on table scraps, depending on how many chickens you've got. They're pretty easy. You're not going to pick you, just hold out some food for him, you big wimp. Yes, Cluckster likes picking the kids, it's his hobby.
This is big enough to house 48 chickens.
Yeah, I mean, this baby here is slight overkill. In theory, we heard that they share 3 per nesting box, but we find they don't sleep in the nesting boxes. They actually like to sleep up on the perches. Yeah, it's a bit grotty in there at the moment. We do need to shovel the poo out.
We have 4 eggs in here.
Yeah, about once a week I'll go through and give it a really good sweep out. I'll change the hay. I would highly recommend.
Food does not get eaten by rats, because this is a special thing for chickens. They just have to step on it and the lid opens. When they step off, it closes. And a rat does not have enough weight.
Yeah, rats. And also sparrows. Literally, I used to have a bowl in here with chook pellets. I'd open the door and 20 sparrows would fly out. We literally go through about 1/3 the amount of chook pellets since investing in that thing. So,
And it was $20.
yeah, it was about $20. I think we got it off eBay or something, didn't we, or Trade Me?
And you get marvellous eggs from chickens.
You do get marvellous eggs from chickens. I mean,
Thank you, Sparky.
you think that's Sparky's? It
And-
might be, yeah.
And Cinnamon and Dotty Duck and Bob and Blackie.
Okay.
Now, there is a difference between store-bought eggs, even some of the free-range eggs you buy from the supermarket. You crack them into a pan, they spread all over. These ones, you crack them into a pan, they stay. They stay nice and thick, and they are just yummy. You can't beat them. You can't beat coming and getting some eggs and then cooking them up for lunch. It's absolutely brilliant. Generally, the more greenery the chickens have been eating, apparently, the more orange the yolk is. So if you've got a really, really bright yellow egg, they haven't been eating much grass. Yeah, our ones, we all got nice dark orange yolks, and they are just beautiful. But I mean, yeah, they've got to have a constant supply of food. Fresh water, you've got to give them nice fresh water every day. We are currently working on an area because I want to start raising my own chicks, because they're just fun. We've had a go at doing it before when we got a clucky chicken, but we actually lost quite a few. But I'm looking at getting an incubator, and we'll show you what we're going to do in the way of setting up a little house for, we're calling it the chickery. Our first lot of chickens, they were actually all ex-battery hens. They were brown shavers, and they were great egg layers. They were brilliant. They're about 2 or 3 years old, I think, because the battery hen places, even a lot of the free-range chicken farms that you buy eggs from at the supermarket, they actually get rid of their chickens when they're 2 or 3 years old, because their peak laying time has actually gone. Whereas really, you look after them, they'll still lay an egg a day for you for years. So I mean, they've been brilliant. We haven't got any of the brown shavers left now. They, bit by bit they've died off, and we've obtained them from various different places. Our chooks at the moment, we don't have any pure breeds or anything. They're all a bunch of mongrels, but they're absolutely gorgeous.
Sparky's cuddly. She's the one with the yellow neck and white feathers onto there. And she's the smallest. And she is Cluxter's sister.
So as well as the main chook house, we constructed this sort of out of old bits and pieces we had lying around, fence posts and stuff. And I mean, if you've only got 1 or 2 chickens, this could even serve as a chook run. It's certainly better than battery farming if you're in town. And yeah, we just do that with a bit of hay and stuff. But we call this the chicken hospital because if any of the chickens are sick, or if they're bleeding, if they've got wounded, all the other chickens, they are brutal creatures, they will attack them. So it is best to put them in solitary confinement if they're sick in any way. I find if they are sick, apple cider vinegar does wonders for them. You put a bit in their water, it's great for them. So technically, our chickens aren't free to roam anywhere on our block of land they want. They are behind fences, but
we once had a master escaper.
We did once have a master escaper, but you always
went out
get that.
the fence.
That's fine. But anyway, they basically live in a paddock that's bigger than our house. So, and we've planted some bushes around. You can't see them that much due to the tall grass at the moment. We really need to mow it. But we've got a few old logs and stuff that they perch on to get some sun. We've got some bushes around that they use as shelter. Yep. And they live a pretty good existence here. Now this is chicken wire. This is the sort of stuff you want to get. We've got our paddock completely surrounded by this stuff. We've actually got deer fencing all the way around, but also some of this stuff that will keep them pretty safe from predators. I find our cats are not an issue at all. Our cats actually quite like the chickens. They come in and just hang out with them, and they're fine. So this stuff here, this is basically crushed up shells. This is grit that I was talking about, and you can get a big bag like that, for like $5, 10 kilo bag. Also, that's the chook pellets that we buy. Good old value brand from Pack and Save. It's just over $10 for 10 kilos. And that's for that kind of stuff. The chickens seem to do really well on it. Very important, you have a bin like that. It needs to have a sealed lid on it, because otherwise mice and rats will just have an absolute field day. So yeah, we just have a little shed like that we keep all our stuff in. So this is the area where we're planning on building our chicory, as we're calling it. But this could, you know, I mean, if you're living in town, well, this would actually be a bit overkill. It's going to be about 2 meters by 8 meters. This is going to be an area, when you first hatch your chicks, you need to keep them in a nice little confined box with the correct heating and everything. But after a while they will outgrow that. They need to come in with the rest of the chickens, but it's a good idea to keep them separate from the rest of the chickens, because otherwise they will just get bullied to death, basically. You need to, until they're about the same size as the other chickens, they really need to be in their own separate space. And it helps to keep them within sight of the other chickens, because they get used to each other and they don't get bullied nearly as much when they finally get released into the flock. We've actually hired a digger because our ground is basically like a dried up riverbed. I advise, if you're going to buy a block of land and you're planning on digging anything, bring a shovel with you and see if you can dig a hole first, because you can't dig a hole on our land. It is shocking. So any fence posts or anything, we actually need to hire a digger. Any fruit tree we want to plant, we have to hire a digger. It's a right royal pain. But anyway, so this chicory is going to be a bit overkill, just because that'll be easier because of the position of our fence posts and everything. So yes, we will document this as we go. We're planning on having a nice little sheltered spot for them over there until they start getting their feathers properly. And yes, it should be a nice wee area for them. So the chickens are all hiding behind me while we're digging this up. This is where the fence posts are going to go for the chicory. Olivia's having fun helping Dad on the digger. This is a bunch of chickens that got spooked by the digger. So we're just rounding them all up. Come on. You know where to go. You know the drill. There we go. Yay. Look, we've got some nice big dug up dirt for you. And they will think that all this dirt dug up is absolute Christmas. Won't you, girls and boy?
I can see a tiny spider.
How good are fresh eggs, guys?
Yeah!
Waha.